Hello, my name is Ben Sawaya. I became a father on December 14th, 2013. When I brought my little girl home for the first time, I wasn't as nervous as I thought it would be, but I was growing increasingly anxious about the years of parenting in my future. I considered parenting the most important job I'll ever have, but I didn't know any more than the next guy about being a dad, so I started looking for answers. Started doing some research. I looked online, found some books. There's plenty of information out there. I learned a lot. I learned how important it is for fathers to be heavily involved parents. I also learned that there's no time to waste. The first few years of a child's life are critical. There's a lot of information out there about parenting, different parenting styles, different philosophies. There's a lot of different theories, and all this information is helpful and useful for parents. However, I wanted to find something a little closer to home. I wanted real advice from real dads who'd experienced what I'm going to experience, or something like it. I realized that no two fathers, no two children are exactly the same, but I still believe we can learn from each other's experience. I decided to ask a few experienced fathers for advice. I asked a few questions that I thought might help me prepare for the not-so-distant future.
I've got two daughters. One is 18 years old and the other one is 15 years old. There's different styles of parenting, I guess. My ex-wife, her style is being a friend to the kids, and I don't think that works right. But I also don't want to be an overbearing, real strict kind of father, and so I think the hardest thing is knowing where that balance is. You know, having your kids stay open with you, especially as they get older. When they're littler, it's not a big deal, but you know, as my kids get older, the struggle that I've had is, you know, talking with drugs and sex and things like that, is you still want them to be able to tell you everything and feel comfortable telling you everything, but you try to, you know, you can't control them too much. The other hardest thing for me is actually getting a divorce from my wife. That was real hard for me, and it was hard on my kids. Harder on my kids than I actually thought it was at the time, being younger. If I had it to do over again, I don't know what I'd do, but I know that was a hard point to have to deal with. Time that I got to spend with them while they were younger. Once that time's gone, it's gone, and the only place it exists is in your head. And you see pictures and you think, God, what I really miss, you know, back when they were younger and just learning to talk and doing that kind of stuff. So that was the most memorable thing for me, is as they were growing up, going to lunch with them at their school, take the time with them now, if you can. Never give that up, because you never get that back. Just enjoy the heck out of them. Take lots of pictures and lots of videos, man. If I could go back, I would be taking a lot more videos than I did, because the memories that I have, like I said, are just up in my head, and I wish I had, you know, more than just a little VHS tape type things that we used to have back then. But you know, just be patient. It's definitely a job, but I wouldn't trade my kids for the world, man. You know, your parenting is pretty much done by the time they're 12 years old. I mean, if you didn't do a good job by the time they're 12, there's not much you're going to do. It doesn't seem like to steer them one way or the other. You can set one or two standards for them, and you know, my standards were, you know, your schoolwork comes first no matter what, and that was the one thing I never wavered on that. And one of the things that's difficult for me is letting go of her. She's still my daughter, but you know, she's got a boyfriend now, and she wants to move in with him, and you know, trying not to parent her so much and parent him at the same time, let them make their own mistakes. That's a tough one for me. Still learning that one. Some of the coolest memories that I had were, you know, both of them played soccer. You know, so every year you get those pictures or whatnot, but just watching them progress through soccer. I actually moved out to a farm for a couple of years just to give my kids that experience, you know, horses and all that stuff. Both of them absolutely loved it. Those memories of involving them in activities and just seeing how they progress through those activities both learning wise and how that made me feel that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Showing them. It's going to sound horrible, but you go out and slaughter chickens, for food, and they're right there with you, and or fishing or whatever. It didn't matter. They were right there with me, whatever the activity was. But I think any kind of activity you do with your kids, forms good positive things in their head, and it also stays with you the rest of your life too.
Jim Ellison. I have two kids. My daughter's 28 and my son is 27. To me, is to see where they're at today, because back when they were young, like your kid is, you hope and pray that they turn out to be pretty good people. And when I see my son and my daughter now, I couldn't expect them to be any better than what they are. They're just really awesome right now. So was real rewarding there. My son in Scouts, he loved outdoors, and so we went through the whole scouting program, and he became an Eagle Scout, and I was assistant scoutmaster, and we did all the trips and all the things, and we hunted and fished, and so that was most rewarding with him. And my daughter loved sports, and she was heavy into basketball and soccer, and I helped coach her teams and went all over the place with her ball games, and so that was most rewarding with my daughter. Both of them, I know a lot of kids don't go through this, but both of my kids did. The last year or two of high school was hell. I mean, we just, arguments all the time. Me and my son even got to an argument one time and said things that I didn't think we'd ever recover from. And now our relationship today is great, but those last year or two of high school with both of them was the roughest for us. Don't take the sport so seriously. When we were in sports, I mean, it was like live or die, and it's like they're there to have fun. Very, very few of them are going to make it to the pro level, so just go and enjoy it and don't be so consumed with it, because so many parents are. We bought both of our kids a car when they turned 16. I would never do that again. I would have one family car, an extra car, and let them car share it, and it would only be if they were in good grace with us and you could have use of the car. Because they always were like, oh, it's my car, I can do what I want, so that is one of the big things I would have done over again. We brought our kids up in a Christian school, private school, and to us it was very important to bring them up in a Christian, faith-believing household and to teach them that there is a solid difference in right and wrong in our world. Yeah, it was a struggle sending them there, I mean, it was expensive, but well worth it, because, I mean, they got problems just like all the other schools do too, they're not exempt from it, but right choice for us.
Mostly to get your children to adulthood, whatever that takes. Some kids need more discipline than others, some need less. I think you learn as you go, and I always kid people about their children raising them, because I think it's somewhat of a two-way street. And everybody's learning. You try to do the best you can. As far as regrets, if you can't do anything about it now, it's really not probably something you really want to dwell on. They teach you as much as any human being does, whether it's your parents or grandparents or friends, co-workers. Everybody has something to teach you, and kids are no different. Probably sharing things that I enjoyed and seeing them enjoy them also, and feel like they did enjoy them. Sports, fishing, camping, them succeed and have succeeding moments in sports and in life in general, has definitely been satisfying. I always felt like when I was a kid that other adults and other people would think that kids don't have any problems, and that adult problems are far outweigh children's problems. In the grand scheme of things, maybe they do, but a child's problem is no more or less intense than an adult's problem. It's just that they're just learning how to deal with problems. And so I always thought that when an adult would tell me that I had it made and that I didn't have a care in the world, that's not what I thought as a child. So I try to maintain that attitude that everybody on this planet's in the same boat, whether you're a 5-year-old or a 50-year-old. Things that are issues to you at whatever stage you are in life are an issue. The time that a person is a child is not very long, and that very shortly they will be an adult. With children or young people, always be looking toward that time when they will be an adult, and you can't start soon enough developing that relationship along with their relationship as a kid or a child, that they will be an adult. And the sooner you can, you always want to be nurturing that along with their childhood, is their adulthood is in the background and is going to be where they're going to spend most of their life, hopefully. Someday they are going to be an adult, and it isn't going to be like flipping a switch. That childhood thing, although it needs to be dealt with and acknowledged, obviously, is a temporary state, and that eventually they will be an adult, and they have in the back of your mind moments when you can, that you treat them as equals, even though you're not. That you prepare both of you for that inevitable time when, they're an adult, you're an adult. Yeah, you might be the father and you're the son, but you're basically equals. You can